So much for checking my channel. Today I want to talk to you about something that a lot of you have asked me questions about this, and it is, how do I become a great leader at work so that I can express myself, that I can actually get some promotions, that I can grow, that I can lead people. How to become a great leader at work? Well, guys, see, the concept of leadership is based on a very, very primal concept in human beings. See, human beings are designed at our DNA level to actually support one another. Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but why is it that, if I drop you in the middle of the jungle and I drop a monkey on the other side of the jungle, within a couple of days, you'll probably be dead and the monkey is still going to thrive, right? We kind of all agree on that. But why is it then that today, that human beings are thriving and monkeys are still monkeys, right? Because if you remember, a few 100,000 years ago, there was not a big difference between human beings and monkeys. We were kind of the same. But why is it that human beings have evolved so much? Well, if you listen to historians and other scientists, what they're saying is this. It seems that there might be something in our DNA that compels us to help one another. While monkeys will help each other, to complete a task, human beings will help each other beyond even our lifetime, right? So if I build a house right now, I'm going to put a lot of work in building a house. Well, my son might be able to use that house, for after I'm dead. And his kids might even be able to use that house after he's dead, right? So human beings have this desire to help and support the community even beyond our own, lifetime. And supposedly it's even coded in our DNA. So we have this desire to support one another. Okay. So if we have the desire to support one another, how do we do that? Well, we do that by actually bringing value to the marketplace, by actually bringing value and exchanging value, by supporting one another, by contributing more to society than we actually take from society. Well, there's one great word in the French language to explain that. And the word is the word entrepreneur. See, to be an entrepreneur means to be devoted to undertaking the creation of solutions for the world. That's what it means. An entrepreneur is somebody who undertakes to create solutions for the world. In other words, an entrepreneur is somebody who's committed to his society, to his community. So before you can be a great leader, you need to commit to becoming a great entrepreneur. Now, if you have a job, I'm not saying quit your job and go start a business. That's not what I mean. There is a concept. You can be an entrepreneur inside of a business. The term is you become an intrapreneur. An intrapreneur is somebody who is acting on his best behavior, on the best possible outcomes for the business. It's somebody who is committed to creating more productivity for themselves, somebody who's committed to growing the business, somebody who is a little bit more independent than the average employee, right? That's the concept of being an intrapreneur. So I'll give you what I call the 4 keys to being either an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. Number 1, intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs are devoted to what I call this concept of emotional mastery. See, while most normal, average, ordinary people out there are always looking for a reason to actually kind of scuttle their own boat, right? They're always looking for a reason to be unhappy, right? If it rains, they're like, oh, it rains today. Or if, the coffee's too cold. Coffee's too cold, right? While the entrepreneur-minded person is always looking for a reason to actually feel better, to feel happier, to be more productive, right? So no matter what happens in the world out there, it seems that these entrepreneurs have a filter, and they can actually filter. It doesn't matter if it rains or shine, the entrepreneur can decide to feel good. I call it emotional mastery. Number 2, physical mastery. And it's physical mastery is an ability to actually discern what you put in your mouth, discern how you eliminate. You know, do you work out or you don't work out? You know, do you eat a big steak and then you sit on the couch for 5 hours eating Cheetos? Or do you eat like a light meal and then you go to the gym, right? You're gonna feel completely differently. Your body's gonna feel differently. Your digestive system is gonna feel differently. It's all of this is gonna send a different message to your brain, and you're gonna feel and you're gonna think differently. So I find that these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs actually have a common thing in their desire to have this mastery over their physical body. Okay? Number 3, you'll find that entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs both actually are devoted to knowing themselves better. You know, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And then once they understand their strengths and their weaknesses better, they're actually more, they allow their strengths to guide them to succeed in life. You see, most people out there love to identify their own weaknesses, and then all they try to do for the rest of their lives is overcome their weaknesses. Oh my God, I'm not tall enough. Oh, I'm not tall enough. So they try to overcome the fact that they're not tall enough instead of just trying to find advantages in the fact that they're not tall enough. Okay? So how do we find our strengths? Well, there's a slew of what's called psychometric analyses out there, right? A psychometric analysis is a way for you to explain how you think and what kind of person you are. You know, you might have heard of Myers-Briggs. You might have heard of Strengths Finder. You certainly have heard of the DISC analysis, right? D-I-S-C analysis. My favorite one for entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs is something called the wealth dynamics. So wealth dynamics is actually a psychometric analysis that helps you understand what kind of an entrepreneur or intrapreneur profile you actually have. Now, once you understand that, once you understand what kind of strengths you have, then you get to choose, you know, do I want to play the game that I'm supposed to play, or do I want to fight life and play the game that I'm not supposed to play? I mean, it's life-changing. Once you understand what your profile is as a wealth dynamics entrepreneur, and then you adopt that profile, and then you start to live life like this, it's life-changing. Because now life is easy. You play the life that you're supposed to play. So that's what I mean, right? So step 3 is, you know, they know themselves. And then step 4, or the fourth key to success for an entrepreneur or intrapreneur, is that they actually have a keen understanding of the world in general. See, while most normal, average, ordinary people out there really don't care about the world, you know, it's all about me, and we live in a very tribal world. You know, people define themselves by the color of their skin. People define themselves by the religious group they belong to. People define themselves by the society, by the country, by the nation where they're from or where they live. You know, women identify to being a woman, men identify to being a man. It's a very tribal energy right now. It's not always been like that. But you find that intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs kind of surpass that. You know, they don't care what group they belong to, where they grew up, or the color of their own skin. They're more like they're genuinely trying to understand how the world works. You know, who are these human beings? How do human beings interact with one another? You know, how they're very intrigued by the concept of, or the science of psychology and the idea of economics and sociology and politics, not just at the entertainment level, but really at the fundamental level. So you got it there, guys. You want to become more successful. You want to become a greater leader at work. Become a intrapreneur. And the entrepreneurs of this world have 4 things in common. Number 1, emotional mastery. They don't let anything bother them. Number 2, physical mastery. They find a way to have more energy and stamina than anybody else. Number 3, they know who they are. They understand their strengths and their weaknesses, and they play the game that they were born to play. And number 4, they have this keen desire to understand the world around them, because they know that to play the game of life, you have to play with other human beings. So you got it, guys. That's the way to do it. I want to tell you something. This is the same information that I share with my clients who pay me tens and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to work one-on-one with me all over the world. So click the like button, click the subscribe button, and then if you want to watch the next video, I think it's queuing up either here or here right now. And also make sure to leave some comments because I love the comments. I love to engage with you. I love to have these conversations. This is Coach Marco Robert. See you next time. Bye-bye. Guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. Remember, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always gotten. Click on the next videos and continue your education.